right?
No doubt.
I look at offensive line play, and like part of why I pay Kyle Shanahan, $15 million a year, is I don't really want to pay $20 million for a left guard. I don't want to pay Mike McGlinchey $50 million in guaranteed money in the offseason at right tackle. I'm expecting my offensive coordinator, my play designer, to be able to scheme around it. We talk so much about scheme. I think he can find ways. You're not going to protect him on every play, but you can minimize a flaw on that offensive line through having a second blocker in that area. Like, that's what you pay Juszczyk for. That's what you got George Kittle for.
Right.
Play design, play action, playing into that guy's strengths. Like, isn't that why we have Shanahan making the big bucks?
Absolutely. And Tomlin talked about it. Look, it wasn't a slight at Purdy. I don't think it was, the more you listen to it. But here's what Tomlin had to say about Shanahan's system.
What kind of keys does your defense have to focus on for a quarterback like Brock Purdy when he hasn't had a ton of tape to study over the past couple of years?
It's less specifically about Brock Purdy, and it's more about how Kyle Shanahan chooses to utilize his quarterback within the schematics of what it is that he does. And so whether it's Purdy or Darnold or Garoppolo or anyone that, Matt Ryan or his days in Cleveland, we just see very similar things in terms of their approach to football. It's very quarterback friendly. It doesn't put them in a lot of adverse circumstances. It keeps them on schedule. And in doing so, it minimizes the potential for negativity. It's a great platform, particularly for a young guy to play and gain experience. And I think it's reflective of Purdy's journey a year ago and their collective journey a year ago. But I imagine his growth and development in that experience has him and them ready to take another step, just like we are with our young quarterback.
No doubt. Now I'm seeing a headline right now on NFL Network saying, will the 49ers take a step back? And the only way they take a step back, I believe, even though Nick Bosa's not here and their defense may take a step back because they were historically great last year, and we don't know about Steve Wilkes and this aggressive approach. Will he blitz a lot? We'll talk to Crocker about that at 8:30. But offensively, the only way they take a step back as a team is if Brock Purdy regresses in this system. And I think, from what we've heard all throughout the years, it takes 2 years to master the system, 2 years to master the system. Well, this is year number 2 for Brock Purdy. And he's got a Deebo Samuel in great shape. And he didn't have Deebo Samuel for 3 games late last season. People forget that. And you've got the nice rapport with Brett and Ayuk. I love the rapport him and Ayuk has. We just saw that in the preseason game, 3rd down, boom, timing route. I trust you to make a play, to run your route correctly. Boom, ball's on time. Ayuk makes a play, gets down to the goal line. Kittle, we know about what he does, and hopefully he does play in week 1. That's the only way this team takes a step back is if Brock Purdy takes a step back. And to me, there's no signs that Purdy's going to take a step back. Instead, I think he's going to get better in this offense.
Man, I mean, take a step back. Like, if they can win 11 games and have a really good year, and I guess it would be deemed a step back, like, I don't know.
In terms of win-loss record, no. But
you know what I mean?
How does it look offensively?
Yes. Yeah.
How does it look? Does the turnovers go up? Does the fumbles go up?
Yeah.
Are there more 3 and outs?
Have we even considered that maybe the NFC could be better than what we're giving it credit as of today? I don't think there are a lot of great teams in it, but aren't we surprised every year, that team? Like, I didn't think the New York Giants were going to make the playoffs last year. I thought the New York Giants were going to stink, and they were way better than I thought last year. I think they're going to take a step forward. We all think that Detroit's set up, but maybe they're a year away. Could the NFC just be better, and maybe we're underrating how good the NFC is? I don't know. I'm just throwing out different reasons. Because you're saying, take a step back, and that would mean that, it's all on the Niners. Right. Sometimes the opponents are just better than you anticipated. Well, their schedule feels more difficult.
No, the schedule feels more daunting, no doubt about it. But we thought that last year too, right?
Yeah.
And injuries happen, trades happen, things happen. The funny part about the NFC this year is, I think, to your point, we know the Cowboys and Eagles are going to be good.
Yes.
Seattle's right there.
I think they're really good.
Seattle's right there. Detroit, I'm very eager to see what Detroit brings to the table tomorrow. But also, I think people are sleeping on the Green Bay Packers, man.
What about Minnesota? They won that division.
Yeah, they lost Cook. Madison's a good player.
And
I don't like their defense, though.
Yeah.
I don't like their defense. But they do have weapons offensively. They can score. They can score with the best of them. There's no doubt about that. But I'm looking at Green Bay, and I'm saying, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon ain't bad. Christian Watson is a baller.
Are we dismissing New Orleans?
I wouldn't.
I mean, Kamara's missing the first couple games, but
You got Jamal Williams.
Getting Michael Thomas back, getting Derek Carr. I'm just thinking big picture. Sometimes things happen in the division, and you think you're going to be a really, really good team, and you look at the conference, and you're like, wow, we kind of underrated all of these teams, and it's no fault of your own. You could still be an explosive team.
Right.
Injuries or situations happen, and you're like winning 11 games. Some people would say it's a huge step back. Could still be a great year.
11-6 is a very good year. Very good year. And for this team, it's almost like the Warriors, although it's a little different in football, obviously, with the bye week.
Yeah.
Only getting one bye week. I want to see the NFL go back to 2 bye weeks. I don't think that's fair to only have 1 bye week, personally.
Do you mean 2 bye
2
weeks?
bye weeks per conference.
Oh, not in the regular season.
Yeah.
No,
2 bye weeks per conference. So
for two
teams get a bye
okay.
week in per conference. I don't like the 1 bye week. I don't like one team getting a bye week. That to me is not fair, especially if you have 7. You add more teams and you decrease the bye weeks. That doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
That's something that's kind of bothered me here. But if you go 11-6, and for this team, kind of like the Warriors in a way where they're proven in the playoffs. They can win on the road in the playoffs. Now, I know they have some monumental losses on the road in the playoffs.
Some huge road wins.
But they've got, exactly.
Huge.
Going to Dallas, you go to Green Bay. I think this team is set up well in the playoffs if they get there. For this team to get there, they know what needs to get done here. And they also have Christian McCaffrey. And Christian McCaffrey is going to drive people crazy. And that's, if there's one thing offensively that excites you,
I can't wait to see him.
it's number 23 McCaffrey, right? Right? McCaffrey in space.
I think he's going to be an MVP candidate this year. I think that's the thing that no one's really come out and said. Wow. But why? Like, I know it goes to quarterbacks. Trust me.
I got to give Danny O'Hara credit. We're out in New Orleans at the casino. The guy all week, like, we're all, having a great time at Bourbon Street.
Okay.
And Daker's talking everybody's ear off. Big Dog City gets married. I'm going to put money on McCaffrey to win MVP. Yeah, okay. I'm going to put money on McCaffrey.
But
the guy put money on McCaffrey to win MVP. The more he kept talking about it, I'm like, 1,000? Now, the only reason why I wouldn't put that bet is because they seem to give the MVP to the quarterback all the time. They do.
When was the last running back to get it?
Adrian Peterson? Was it Adrian Peterson? AP?
I thought Todd Gurley might have got it one year. Maybe I'm wrong. AP's the last running back?
So, Justin Jefferson, I thought, had an argument last year, but quarterback's always good.
Yeah, they give the running backs the Offensive Player of the Year award now. So it's basically turned into, unless you're having like an amazing 2,000-yard type of season, you're not getting it.
So that's the only reason why I wouldn't bet money on a running back winning MVP, but it's a good bet. It's a good investment.
I mean, look, if I'm just looking at it from if the Niners are where we think they're going to be, the guy's going to have a monster year. We know he puts up monster numbers. Health is obviously it's part of the Christian McCaffrey experience. Like, when he's healthy, he's unbelievable. When he's not healthy, it sucks because he's such a great weapon. And I just look at what he can do for the entire team in terms of opening things up. I don't know, man. I think he should be in the mix.
He should be in the mix. He should be. But, again, quarterbacks, when you got Mahomes, when you got Allen, when you got Burrow, we got all these studs. Jalen Hurts had an argument to win MVP. That's tough there.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a guy that's going to get a lot of buzz this year.
Oh, you're on the Trevor Lawrence high train with me,
Doug P. Yeah. I mean, Doug Peterson,
Trevor Lawrence is good, man. Sunshine, man, can play. Sunshine can play. 888-957-9570. What is the most exciting aspect of 49ers offense this year? Because, again, all training camp, so much of the conversation, 2 leagues. Huh? Yeah, I know. You see this guy? He's battles me about Trevor Lawrence all season.
But you know why he's come around. He's his fantasy quarterback.
In 2 different leagues.
But
because I think they're going to throw a lot.
This is what happened.
No,
he starts hearing the wisdom that I impart into Sasky's brain on these quarterbacks, and he gets to these fantasy drafts. He goes, wow, he is right about Trevor Lawrence. Wow, he did come along last season. Wow, he did get better after Urban Meyer left.
Well, I mean, that was obvious.
He does have an arm.
That was obvious.
Wow.
But he also added nuance to his game. I mean, I'm not a Dabo guy. I think Dabo's offenses are very boring. I do. I think they're not. I don't think they develop quarterbacks that
They
well.
don't. But
No, he recruits phenomenally. But like when you watch Trevor Lawrence in college, it was a lot of like 5 wide slants. Every play was a slant.
Going to that Fiesta
Or a
Bowl,
go route.
watching that Fiesta Bowl, what sold me on Trevor Lawrence in that game, I didn't know he had that running ability.
Oh yeah, well he's been able to move. He's a beast.
But no, that game he broke a 60-yarder against that Ohio State defense with all that speed. Chase Young, Jeff Okudah, they had ballers on that defense, and I think Denzel Ward was on that team as well for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and he outran everybody. And I saw Trevor in that game outgunned in terms of talent. I said, "Oh, this dude's a stud."
Well,
and I got to watch him twice. I was lucky, one of the few Bay Area people to watch him in person twice. Once at Levi Stadium in the national championship at Alabama, and out in Glendale, Arizona. I was like, "Yeah, that's the guy.
Well,
that's the guy."
The Christian Kirk, everybody blasted that move. And
It was a great
he was
move for that.
good last year. And then acquiring Calvin Ridley might be one of the better acquisitions of the offseason.
And a rejuvenated Evan Ingram.
I didn't even
at
think
tight
about
end.
him.
He balled out last year.
I didn't even
for
think about
Jacksonville,
him.
So I think Jacksonville is going to be really good.
That
I'm
division
glad you're-
sucks, too.
I'm glad you're on the Trevor Lawrence trade. That makes me happy.
Well, fantasy quarterbacks are different. Like Stafford was a great fantasy quarterback for a decade. Not that he was a great winning quarterback. So like when you're looking for fantasy, you're looking for teams that are going to throw the ball and put up points. And I'm looking at that team. I think they're going to throw the ball and put up points.
Yep.
But I also think he's good.
Yep. 415 Xfinity Mobile text line. What excites me about the Niners is their physicality. Nothing better than watching your team beat up the other team. That's certified G. There is something about running the ball down team's throat. I know a lot of people complained in 2019 about Jimmy only throwing 8 times, but I got a great thrill out of, like, think about Vince Lombardi and the Green Bay Packers and what they represented, running the ball down people's throats with the counter trays and the counter traps and all that, and the sweeps. And the Niners did that to them, that organization in the NFC Championship game. That was one of my favorite games, just running Mostert down their throat. Stop it. Stop it. What about running 12 straight times against Minnesota, against Everson Griffin and Daniil Hunter and that defense? Try to stop us. I love running the ball down people's throats. I'm with you, certified G.